So welcome to our chat today. Today is day 8 of the Olympics. So we are up for a huge amount. Well, there was huge amounts of surprises and things like that in today's Olympic Games. So let's start off with, now that we start off with athletics, we can start talking about athletics. So the first thing was the high jump men. Pretty much anybody that jumped over 228 qualified. I mean, 230 was a qualification mark, but they didn't even have to go as far as 230. They got up to 228, and anybody above 228 qualified. So it leaves 13 athletes. Pretty much all the favorites are all there. Akimenko from ROC, Barshim, Lovett, they're all up there, all qualified quite comfortably. A couple of guys knocked over the odds. Pole on the way to there, but you know most of these guys nowadays can cover the Olympic height. So that was quite an easy one. That was quite nice to watch. The next one was if we had to look at the 5,000 meters. Once again, it was quite an easy one for most of the athletes. Nobody was really too pressed. Sorry, I mean the 3,000 meter steeplechase. Nobody was really too pressed. Some of the times a bit close. It was just generally qualifying. I mean, some of the guys actually qualified with relatively slow times, but being top of their heats. I mean, there was like Moira from Japan. He got a national record in qualifying in his race, finished second in his race. But we'll just see how well he does actually when the time comes. I mean, the fastest time was actually done by an Ethiopian at 8 meters 9 seconds, nearly 8 meters 10. It was pretty much a comfortable kind of coasting in. The guys should go at least another 5-6 seconds faster. But let's see what happens on the actual day. The next event that we can talk about is the men's discus throw. Here also, once again, it was quite a easy qualifying for most of the athletes. They had to, they weren't terribly pressed in actually trying to, qualify. I mean, the qualifying distance was 66 meters, and we can see that how many athletes qualified up to 66. There's only one that actually qualified throwing 66, but the rest of the athletes, the top guys, threw over 62 to actually qualify. So as I said, Stoll is actually the only person from Sweden who threw a qualifying distance, but most of the other athletes should get pretty close on the day when it actually comes to the finals. Next event was that we can talk about is the 800 meter women. Now, I mean, coming from South Africa, being a big fan of Caster Semenya, it's a pity that she wasn't there. But Reiki from Great Britain did well. Hooley from Jamaica did well. Wilson from USA. Wang from China. They all kind of qualified pretty comfortably in their heats. Some of the times were a little bit quick. I mean, you normally in heats like this, you don't expect girls to go under 2 minutes. And we had 2 runners under 2 minutes and a couple just over 2 minutes. So I think it's going to be quite a nice race, quite a competitive race. I mean, the slowest qualifying time was 2:02. So I think it's going to be a good race when it comes to the crunch. The next event was that we can talk about is the 400 meter men's hurdles. Now, this is actually one that I'm actually very interested in. You got Carlson Warholm from Norway that qualified in Heat 3, finished first in his race, but quite far down from the rest of the athletes. He qualified in foot 865. By 0.3 of a second slower than the fastest qualifier, but we all remember that he actually broke the world record recently at 46.70. So we expect him to do quite well. Dos Santos should be very good. I actually listened to one of our webinars we had previously. They actually said he's got one of the best stars in the world. Beautiful athlete to watch run. Benjamin is expected from the USA to do well. There's so many good athletes in this race. This one here is going to be very, very competitive. So let's see what happens in the next round, but very exciting, and a lot of athletes in form in the 400 meter hurdles. The next event was the 100 meter women. Now, this one here, I was really surprised because it was only the round one. There's still a couple of rounds left, and the women are cracking incredible times. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 six women going under 11 seconds and 1:11 on the dot. Thompson Herah, again from Jamaica, did well. Fraser Price did exceptionally well. Most of the runners are running incredible times. Sha'Carri Richardson naturally is missing, so America didn't do as well as what they could have done. They won the odd heat, but Daniels is the fastest American woman, and yeah, she's a little bit off the pace. She qualified first in the heat, which is fine, but let's see what actually happens. I mean, Shericka Jackson still can go faster. Asher Smith still can go faster. So there's a lot on the plate. A lot of people that can actually go a lot faster in the next rounds. So very exciting. Next event is the 10,000 meter men. Okay, this was actually the last event of the day. And I mean, it's one of the races that you can actually just watch without even blinking. It was absolutely fantastic. Berega from Ethiopia won, with Cheptegei finishing second and Kiplimo third. Now, Cheptegei was expected to win. He had broken the world record not too long ago, at the end of last year. He was expected to do exceptionally well. But it became a tactical race. So very early on in the race, Berega actually broke away to try and catch. They had Kiso from Uganda, who was a pacemaker right at the beginning. He decided to pacemake for Uganda, get a fast time. He went in the lead, and nobody really followed him. Then Berega followed him, stuck with him for a little while, then dropped back again and joined the whole bus. And everybody expected things to go, to kind of maybe run together, maybe speed up a bit and stuff. Meanwhile, it slowed down. And then with a couple of laps to go, like 4 or 5 laps to go, it slowed down even more. So it was definitely going to be a tactical race. And then with 400 meters to go, Berega sprinted again. The Sam got in the lead and he kept his lead. Cheptegei actually, for me, he only really exerted himself in the last 100 meters. But by that stage, it was too late and he was beaten. All he managed to do is overtake Kiplimo, and that was it. So very disappointed in him, but it was a spectacular race, and gold's a gold. So Berega did exceptionally well for Ethiopia, and it goes back to Ethiopia again after 2 Olympics is going to Great Britain. Next event is the 4x400 mixed relay. Now I love this race. This is fantastic for me. I love the mixed races. Poland qualified with the fastest time. Jamaica did quite well. Great Britain did well. Some of the other teams are actually resting the athletes. So we can see what they do later on in the season. So sorry, too many nights spent up watching athletics and the Olympics. However, Nigeria was a team that made a mistake, and theirs was a tactical mistake. They actually put the last runner being the second last runner being male and the last runner being female. Meanwhile, most teams are going male, female, female, male. And what happened was that the male runner in the lead in the second last runner being a male, he went far ahead and he overtook all the female runners and he got a huge lead. But was he really pushed? Was he really pushed to his limit? Did he go as fast as he could have? Would be quicker if he had actually run with other athletes. So it seemed like he was far in the lead. Then the next change happened. The men broke away, and she was caught by every single person in the field. There was actually only 2 people that fell behind her were 2 people that actually 2 teams that actually pulled out of the race. So yeah, it was incredible. It was actually a very badly run race by Nigeria. Bad planning. But it's one of those things. If it had worked, we would have said it was a genius move, and it didn't work. Women's shot put also easy qualifiers here. I mean, I'm a big Valerie Adams fan. She might be a little bit too old now coming into the Olympics, but she qualified with ease. Can she throw an extra 1.5 meters to win this thing, or 2 meters maybe? We'll have to see. Gong and Son from China dominated, qualified comfortably. Saunders from USA qualified comfortably. So we'll have to see what actually happens with the rest of the when it actually comes to the crunch. But I think this could be very much a USA-China event. with hopefully Valerie Adams getting somewhere in between, or at least pushing them hard. Valerie's also had 2 kids since the last Olympics. So the last one was in 2019. And, she's a mother at home and stuff. She's doing a phenomenal job training. If you want to follow something interesting on Instagram, you must follow Valerie Adams, because she actually gives you an idea of how hard it is to actually be an athlete. The women's triple jump also easy qualifies. The women's triple jump, there's not much to really say in it. It's sorting out the top women from the rest. The ladies up front are so superior than some of the rest of the ladies, and others have to actually just take part. So qualifying distance was 1440, and at the end of the day, there were actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 athletes that qualified there. The rest just under. So let's see what happens on the day. And then the last one is a women's 5,000 meters. Once again, it was an easy qualifier for some people. There were a couple of people that did the season's best in trying to qualify. Will they be able to go any better when it comes to the final? Who knows? Who knows what will happen? But that'll only happen next week. So let's see what happens there. So quite a bit happened. Quite a lot of exciting events happened in athletics. So anyway, let's get on to some of the other events that happened today that we watched. Basketball's second round of basketball came through for the women. They all finished the second round with France beating Nigeria 87-62, China beating Australia 76-74, which is probably the game of the day. Very exciting. United States against Japan. United States struggled for the first 2 quarters. They really struggled and couldn't pull away from Japan. But at the end, Japan, they managed to pull away. But hats off to Japan. They fought all the way to the end. And the final game was Belgium beating Puerto Rico 87-52. Next event was that I actually watched this one also, was the canoe slalom men's final. What a race. Absolutely phenomenal race. And it went all to Eastern Europe. I was actually surprised. The athlete actually surprised the most was the German athlete. He qualified 7th overall. 6th overall, and you expected him to pretty much finish in that order. Meanwhile, he put out a very, very good time, and other guys made mistakes, even though they qualified higher than him. Like Smollin from USA qualified higher than him, or Neveu from France qualified higher. They actually ended up finishing lower than him in overall. So he did exceptionally well. Priskovic from Czech Republic won. He won quite comfortably. He won by 3 seconds, and it was a flawless performance, but he was expected to win. The BMX racing was a mixed event, with Kimman from Netherlands winning the men's one, with White second from Great Britain, and Ramirez third from Colombia. In the women's event, it was Shriver first from, it's actually a different order, same countries, different order. Shriver from Great Britain first, Vajon from Colombia second, and Smulders from Netherlands third. So it's nice to see it. Well, actually, you can see who dominates countrywide this event, and nice mixture of results there. Fencing, the men's EP team gold match went to Japan, beating ROC, and China and Korea fought for 3rd and 4th place, and Korea pipping China there. So ROC, is normally, when it comes to fencing, it's often dominated by European teams, and it's nice to see some of the other teams come in here and actually do exceptionally well. Now, the big event for me today, and I watched every game except for the Sweden-Japan game. Huge upsets in the football. So Brazil and Canada played to a 0-0 draw. Extra time, 0-0 at extra time, went to penalties. Canada missed their first penalty, but then they slotted the next 4. Brazil got the first 3 and missed the next 2. So Canada knocked Brazil out, one of the huge favorites. Great Britain played phenomenal football, maybe struggling with goals a bit. They drew 2-2 at full time with Australia, went into extra time. And even though Great Britain, even there, dominated position, had a lot of opportunities, they couldn't put the ball in the net. And suddenly, just at the end of the first half of extra time and the beginning of the second half of extra time, 2 goals by Australia. Suddenly they were 4-2 up. Great Britain scored right at the end of the game to bring it close to 4-3 after extra time, but Australia knocked them out. Sweden beat Japan 3-1, but Sweden are my favorites to win this tournament. And the last game was Netherlands-United States. And Netherlands scored first. The United States came back and scored 2 and went 2-1 up. Netherlands scored to equalize, then had an opportunity during normal time to actually score a penalty, and they scored a goal off offsides. Couldn't win the game. The United States came back in the second half of extra time, scored 2 goals offsides. And the calls were right. I mean, from all the offside calls were right. And they went into penalties. And the United States beat Netherlands 4-2 in penalties. So United States are through, one of because they're World Cup, world champions, pre-tournament favorites. And the way that the tournament had gone so far, they weren't favorites to beat Netherlands. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now with Canada, Australia, Sweden, and United States into the next round. Then in the hockey-wise, women lost again. Germany beat South Africa 4-1. India beat Ireland 1-0. Then in the men's, and that finished off that round of women's hockey. Then the men's hockey, it was Australia and Spain drew 1-1, which is a great game. And Canada and South Africa drew 4-4. Now, this was South Africa's opportunity to maybe sneak in ahead of Germany after their win yesterday against Germany, maybe sneak in to the next round. But Germany, after their loss yesterday, certainly woke up and they came back and they beat Netherlands 3-1. India beat Japan 5-3. Argentina beat New Zealand 4-1. What a game from Argentina. And then Belgium, Great Britain, a crack of a game, end-to-end stuff, 2-2 to both of them. So hockey's going exceptionally well. I mean, a lot of it's coming down to pretty much the action end of it, of the tournament. Well, actually, it is down to the action end of the tournament in the quarterfinals now. And you've got Australia, India, Argentina, Spain through, and Belgium, Germany, Great Britain, and Netherlands through. So South Africa drop out. Germany goes from nearly dropping out to second overall in their group. And the quarterfinal matches will be Australia, Netherlands, Germany, Argentina, India, Great Britain, Belgium, Spain. So I think Belgium, Spain will be a cracker. Argentina, Germany will be a very closely contested game. And yeah, Australia are the favorites. Who knows what they're going to do against Netherlands. I think India normally would be one of the favorites to go through. I think they'll struggle against Great Britain, truthfully. I think they'll really, really struggle against Great Britain. But who knows? I mean, they won 4, lost 1, so maybe I'm wrong, hey? Maybe I'm wrong. I watched the judo first thing this morning. They had pretty much your 100 plus kilo men and 78 kilos, so the big men and big women today. And it was absolutely amazing. I think Ortiz from Cuba and the women's really came out hoping for great things, but Akira-san from Japan just won with a hold down, and she comfortably won that one. Dicko against Sayed for one of the bronze men. Dicko went through from France. There were some good games, good wrestling going on. I'm not too clued up with wrestling. I know basics about it, but it was actually quite exciting to watch. Then the rugby sevens for women carried on today. Fiji beat Brazil, France beat Canada very comfortably, which is a bit of a surprise. I thought it was going to be a closer game, that one. China beat Japan, so the Asian two nations took each other on, and China were favorites, or dominated that game. The United States beat Australia. That was a very tough game. That was a very close one. Could have gone either way. Australia, defending champions. The United States are always good at rugby. The United States just put them 14-12, so it was a conversion that was the difference. Great Britain beat Kenya, New Zealand beat ROC, but those were all expected. Then in the quarterfinals, that became very interesting because New Zealand easily won comfortably, but Fiji, Australia could have gone to Australia. I mean, Australia was probably the favorites, and Fiji pipped them 14-12. So second game that Australia lost due to a conversion, 14-12. United States were expected most probably to go through, but Great Britain rallied and played exceptionally well and managed to beat United States 21-12 to get through, and France beat China. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. New Zealand, Fiji should be great, and United States against France. Then comes the swimming side of things. Now, Tatiana Schoemaker from South Africa, she, in the 100-meter breaststroke, she qualified first. She got an Olympic record, and then she just didn't. She went out too hard, I think, in her 100-meter. But in the 200-meter, she went out a little bit slow, judged the race a little bit better, and broke the world record in the 200-meter breaststroke. She broke it quite comfortably. So it was a fantastic race. She won by nearly a second. Was it 98 hundredths of a second? She beat Lily King from the United States with Annie Laser second. Fantastic race, a very exciting race. And you can see she's a popular athlete because all the athletes celebrated with her. Then 200-meter backstroke for men. Redov from Russia won, with Murphy second from USA, Greenbank from Great Britain third. McKeon from Australia won the women's 100-meter freestyle. Jorge came second and Campbell third. Names that you've heard many, many times before. They've all raced in previous races, so we've heard about them. We've seen them before winning medals and stuff. That was great. And then the 200-meter men's individual medley went Wang, Scott, and Desplatches. So that's the results that I'm covering today. Lots of events on today, so all great fun. Volleyball was great. Oh yes, volleyball was one big upset. RSC had dominated up to now. They seemed like they were the team to beat in the volleyball, and they lost 3-1 to a very extremely inspired France. France really took the game to another level. Unbelievable tournament for France, comeback for France, and they've kind of put themselves in an interesting position now. Now they're qualifying for the next round. I mean, there's still one round of matches left, and their group is very close now, with Brazil and RSC having 3 wins and 1 losses, but they've qualified already. And the race is between France, United States, and Argentina. Any one of them can actually get through. Meanwhile, in the other leg, you've got Italy, after their bad start, has now come back and won 2 in a row. Poland are looking very good. Both Italy and Poland have qualified automatically. Canada also, but Italy and Poland have got 3 wins, 1 loss. And Iran who's started off very well with the first 2 wins, lost 2 in a row. They can always just sneak through. Tomorrow, Japan play against Iran, and whoever wins that will get through. Italy play against Canada. It's not going to make much of a difference. It might just change the order of where they're sitting in the log. And Poland against, Venezuela, and Poland, Canada. So that should be a great game. So let's see who gets through. It's all up for grabs. Anybody can get through from the volleyball side, which is very, very, very exciting. What's the last round? So the last round for the other group is Brazil against France, RSC against Tunisia, United States against Argentina. So Argentina and United States are playing directly for that position, and the others are just playing pretty much for seeding, where they can seed and stuff like that. France game against Brazil, pretty much, if France lose that one, and one of the ones, but not too badly, and the United States beats Argentina very comfortably, France will get through anyway. It doesn't make a difference. If the United States lose to Argentina, France could still sneak through. So it should be interesting to see how tomorrow ends up. Those last 2 positions in that group are very, very close. And yeah, water polo, South African women are 1 more game to go, and they'll go over 100 goals. They're sitting at 83 goals against them. They're not looking very good. They're beaten 33-1 by the Netherlands. United States have beat RSC 18-5, which is a fantastic one. This is in the women's competition, by the way. Hungary beat Japan 17-13, and Spain beat Australia 15-9, which I expect to be a lot more of a closer game. Quite impressed with that. Quite competitive compared to what we expected. Anyway, a lot more on tomorrow, a lot of athletics on tomorrow, so lots more to watch. So enjoy the Olympics and let's have fun. Thank you, everybody, and yeah.